Hey guys, thanks for listening to The Cynical Nerd. Please keep in mind that we do not avoid spoilers for any of our topics, whether they are current or past media. Listen at your own risk. Isaac Asimov.
As we just killed Asmodan
Yes.
the other night in the Theater of Pains.
The theater.
Did you like this little? I did this little curl for you.
I do like it a lot.
Oh, you're growing your hair out.
Oh yes. Oh, silly me. No, I actually usually it doesn't sit like that. Let's see if I can fix it. Can I fix it? Oh, that's better. Okay, looking normal for all you guys listening at home.
For all you fellas at home.
It's been a minute.
It has.
We missed last week's episode due to what I would call continued sickness.
Sustained coof.
We had, if you didn't see our tweet, by the way, shameless plug, go follow us on Twitter at The Cynical Nerd. It was the Coof Troop, but it was the Coof Troop 2. It was the sequel. And we were hanging out with, what the fuck is that guy's name? It was Pauly Shore. I don't know what the guy's name is.
It's your best and worst Photoshop at the same time. That's what I love about that picture so
That's
much.
So I was at work. I shouldn't say that probably on the podcast. But let's be real here. It took 5 minutes. Okay.
Right.
As you can tell by the quality of said apostrophe shop. And I'm like, I'm gonna make this image. I'm gonna Photoshop this in. And I was literally thinking like, oh, I could replace the mouth and like the eyes and make it weird. And then I was like, you know what? You know what I really want to do? I just want to cut out our faces at weird angles and just leave them there.
Yeah. I think it worked. I think it was a good creative choice that you made there.
It helped me give a real moist boist. Right. You know? The perfect moist boist.
To your moist. I can now also say that I had COVID, and it was I still feel like shit. You can hear it, but not COVID like shit.
Yeah, just a little nasally. Not bad though.
Yeah, we had some like companion sicknesses alongside COVID that just are lingering. They're just hanging out.
They bandwagoned.
Yeah, exactly. But I got to tell you, in all seriousness, everybody that I know, like personally, who has had it so mildly that when I tested positive, I was like, whatever. I'm good, baby. I'm 33 years old. Ain't gonna touch me.
I'm proud of you.
And then the next morning I woke up and it felt like people hit me with baseball bats the entire night. It was really like, holy shit. If you can avoid getting that shit, listeners, do it. It was not fun. It was a fucking miserable. It was only a couple days and then it went away. But man, that was a miserable couple days. I was sitting at my desk just like I am now. And just like the action of holding my head up, which is normally just an automatic, you didn't even think about it, was like exhausting, where like my head would just like slowly move down towards my desk. Oh my God, that's
You're like your son all over again. He holds his head up for too long and then he needs a nap.
Veronica had to like tilt my head up.
Yeah. And so he was, our lovely co-host here was more or less over the coof last week, but the cough it lingers.
Yeah, lingers.
We both have our mutes at the ready because I'm like nowhere near how bad I was last time. I was actually hurting by the end of last time because it was the first time I had talked that much since I had COVID.
Yeah.
But I still every once in a while I got to clear the throat. It's still kind of just hanging out. It's like the COVID bus was driving past and all these like assholes jumped on board and didn't pay their fare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember they did pay. I don't know what kind of money these things got in their pockets, you know? I don't know what kind of ducats they got. In the words of the weird criminal from the beginning of Fifth Element, give me the cash. Give me the cash. All right, that's enough odd references. As you can tell, I feel pretty much 100% normal again. We have stuff to talk about.
We do.
We watched we actually watched all of the Sandman, so we're going to talk about the whole series.
All of it.
All of it. We had time. We're not going to let you down. Yeah. We're not going to just keep one or two
100%
episodes.
of it. Yeah.
Actually, we only watched it because spoiler alert, I think we both liked it a lot.
Yeah.
We watched Prey, the new movie on Hulu. We watched, and I think we're up to episode 6. What we do in the shadows.
Yeah.
The new Beavis and Butthead series is out. We're not going to talk about it this week. You don't really even have to watch it, to be honest with you. I brought it up, but like, they reintroduced, the only thing I'll say about it, I'll just do it right now. The only thing I can say about it is they reintroduced back in the day, Beavis and Butthead would sit on the couch, and interspersed throughout the episode would just randomly be those guys watching videos and making fun of them. And I totally forgot about this aspect of the original show. Like, completely forgot about it. To the point where when it started, I was like, holy shit, were Beavis and Butthead like the first YouTube reaction videos? And they kind of were. And it's like Mystery Science 3000, but like in a little tiny stupid dick and fart joke segment that lasts for maybe 3 minutes, and it was usually over a music video or something.
Yeah.
They've realized, I think Mike Judge has realized, that he can just do that with like TikToks now, and it works really well. The show's still pretty stupid. I mean, and maybe, you know, like the movie, the dick and fart jokes are funny at first, and you're like, okay. One or two of the segment storylines are clever. It's worth a watch if you're bored.
Yeah.
But there's this one. I sent you a clip. I don't know if you had watched it before it came out, of this dude who had been in prison who was making his own like tattoo ink. And it's them watching it. And I like, for some reason, that segment just fucking tickles me because it's so funny.
No, I don't think I watched it. It does. I am interested in watching it, though. I just feel like the long format of a movie just didn't. I feel like Beavis and Butthead needs to be bite-sized. So I actually am looking forward to watching it because I feel like with that like shorter time frame, it may actually be more enjoyable.
More like Beavis and butt-sized.
Hey, got him again, Mike Judge.
Mike Judge, you should
like
hire
Mike
us as
Fudge.
writers. Oh, hey, this is episode 78
Okay.
of the Cynical Nerd podcast. I'm gonna hit you with something I haven't done in quite a while. I'm gonna hit you with that. Welcome.
Oh shit! It's
to
back.
episode 78 of the Cynical
The
Nerd.
triumphant return.
We only have 4 trailers. I already talked about main topics. A pretty decent amount of week in review to talk about. Lots of stuff has happened. I first and foremost would like to say the whole kerfuffle, if you will, the old hubbub, the shebang about the cancellation of the Batgirl movie. You probably heard it here first if you listen here.
Right.
But that news
broke
came
that
out
news,
like
so yeah.
Yeah, not Variety. It was us. If you look in the byline, very, very tiny with a telescope, magnifying glass, not telescope, you'll see our podcast name there. That broke like right before we recorded last week's episode. So we actually were pretty early in the news cycle for that. So yeah, I don't know what the point of me telling you that was other than what's up, boys? Doesn't matter if no one listens. Anyway, by the way, before we start, Twitter, not Instagram yet, and Facebook at The Cynical Nerd, and TikTok at The Cynical Nerd.
What are we going to post on Instagram? Do you think like tastefully taking dick pics? That's what I was going for. But
well,
tasteful.
I think
with like soft lighting, natural, I think.
This is probably already a thing. But I think we should start just using normal pictures of like cartoon and celebrities and just put like a bleeped out black bar as if they're putting a dick pic up, like an accidental dick pic. But as you see like the white gloves of like Mickey Mouse next to it.
Right.
You know, it could even be a real and you could hear, uh-oh. I hit the post button. I guess not has someone.
Can I tell you how much I hate Mickey Mouse now that my son watches Mickey Mouse Funhouse? That's it. That's the whole bit. I just hate
listened to it.
But Hot Dog is a great song.
It's
Hot Dog.
Hot dog, diggity dog.
I endure the entire show just for the 2 minutes of Hot Dog at the end.
My son is this is definitely a Cynical Nerd. Welcome back, because I'm telling a kid story already.
Yeah.
Grayson has matured. He's blossomed into the kid who now will not only sing Hot Dog, just sitting there, but he will replace the words to be an asshole to me. So he earlier today I was in the kitchen and he was singing and I started singing with him because the song's a banger. Hot Dog. And he goes, no,
How
Daddy.
could I resist?
He goes, stop singing in. Literally. I was like, whoa, little shit. You got me.
It's hilarious. He sang you off the stage.
He said, right. I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, do it again. That was really clever. I want to look, I have a sneaking suspicion that would help his brain I don't know. And
I remember you just unlocked like a core memory for me of being really young, and my mom would sing to me, and I would tell her to stop singing because it embarrassed me.
Oh, really?
I think I was like, I think I was a shithead. I think like I just never saw it in that light, and now I'm looking back, I'm like, what if she really liked her singing voice, and I made her
and you
feel
were like
bad
crushing
about
it.
Yeah,
Like, what if she had these dreams that you've never known about, and now you'll never? She's like, I'll never tell him how I really feel about singing.
I never hear her sing anymore, so I think I think
You
I
nipped that right in the
something
bud.
there, Yeah,
And get
Ripped
this
Steph's
habit taken
singing
care of.
career.
All right, we're gonna start. We're gonna do the thing. I wasn't kidding. You can email us at cynicalnerd. Questions at
We would never
thecynicalnerd.com.
joke about that.
I would never joke about that.
Mm-mm.
Follow us on Twitter at the cynical nerd. All right, moving on. We got some more Joker Folie à Deux news. We had rumors a couple weeks ago that not only the script was being read by Joaquin, but that it was going to be a musical, and that Harley Quinn, a female lead,
Mhm.
would potentially be played by none other than Lady Gaga. Which at first we were like, huh. Well,
Yeah.
if they do it right, could be cool. And then all of that turned out to be true. So they definitely, Gaga herself has posted a tweet that had like a weird little musical number with them dancing. It was clearly her and Joaquin Phoenix.
Mhm.
She's almost certainly playing Harley Quinn. It would be weird if they didn't
Yeah.
name her Harley Quinn at this point.
Just some woman named like Wendy. she's just there.
Like Marley Gin or something.
Yeah.
Like no couth, just no shame, just do it up. But yeah, no. So I mean, look, we talked about it
Mhm.
the time that was announced. This is more of just a confirmation, but Gaga's a great singer.
She is
Can't fault her for that.
undeniable.
There are a lot of people comparing. I've done this before. We talked about it when we first announced it. Now I can't remember. They were saying like if the first Joker was mirroring Taxi Driver, then the second one's got to be mirroring this other movie that he made that was like a musical set in
Mhm.
New York. I brought it up last time. Totally forget the fucking name. Look, I don't care what he's taking influence from. If the second movie is as well acted and written as the first one, then I'm there.
Yeah, me
I'm on
too.
board. I don't care if they're singing, but we've discussed before. We both secretly love musicals.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy that, like, I don't know, like, I feel like you have to do something weird, right?
And you know it's going to be fucked up.
Yeah. But you couldn't do Just Fucked Up again because you already did Just Fucked Up and it worked awesome. So why would you just like, he's back and he hurt more people? It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, we know that's what he does. I don't know.
Figured it out.
Could be, I think I said this when we first brought it up, but when they initially announced the Joker and even when they first showed Joaquin Phoenix, like before the trailer or anything, just in his getup as the Joker, I was like, this is laughable. This is like, there's no way this is going to be good. And then I ended up falling in love with it. So I'm just going to have faith on this one. I don't know.
Todd Phillips is historically, I have mostly liked his films.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll just see.
What else did he do? He did something weird that like is not in the same tone as the Joker.
Hangover.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Right?
So
I'm pretty sure it
bizarre.
was Hangover.
I think it was. That sounds right to me.
He definitely. Let's definitely. Oh yeah, definitely Hangover. Okay,
Definitely.
Due date. He did do War Dogs. I don't know if you remember that film. That was Jonah Hill, Miles Teller. It's when Jonah Hill is like peak fat Jonah. He's big. in
Right,
that
big
movie.
boy, big
You've
boy.
probably seen a picture of him from that film.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, he's done some good movies and some stinkers.
Yeah.
Some little stinky dinkers, if you will. But we're gonna move on to the next thing. Speaking of DC characters, we have two more kind of big pieces of news. One piece involving the plans now that Warner Brothers and Discovery have merged for the DC universe. One talking about their streaming service,
Mhm.
and then one talking about our boy Ezra Miller and Warner
Man of the hour.
Brothers.
Public enemy number one.
Against his will. Well, also against the will of his victims. So, gotcha.
You
I'm gonna
did.
spit that out. got you $1.
I
got Okay.
you $1.
So, this is like a can of worms that I'm going to open up. Warner Brothers Discovery said they have a 10-year plan for DC. So, which I posted a meme I was very proud of. I didn't make it, but I found it, so I was very proud that I found it. Where is Dr. Manhattan sitting on the rock, and he's like, it's 2013, and DC and Warner Brothers has a 10-year plan for DC. It's 2032, and Warner Brothers has a 10-year plan. The point is, I feel like Walter Hamada and the people over at DC, I feel like they had just started to get into a groove where, sure, everything wasn't going perfectly. I'm sure they would have loved if Ben Affleck stuck around as Batman in a more permanent role. But I feel like they were like, okay, Shazam's coming out. Sorry, not Shazam. Black Adam's coming out. Shazam was well enough received. Aquaman was well enough received. 2's coming out. We got Batman over here. He's doing his own thing, but that's fine. We're happy to let Reeves play in his sandbox. We got Joker. That's fine. Play in your sandbox. And then we're gonna do some streaming stuff. We're gonna introduce Keaton. We know he's gonna be in the Flash movie if that ever comes out. Because if I swear to God, if like one more fucking thing happens, they're just gonna put the kibosh on the whole fucking thing. And it wasn't like the idyllic DC universe that like me being a DC fuckboy had envisioned or hoped for. You know, you say what you will about the formulaic nature of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they are, and I understand. And I also understand why. There's safety in numbers. Say what you will about that. They did a wonderful job building out a cinematic universe. They're the people you look at when you talk about doing it successfully. No one else has even come close to the amount of success that they've had. And for better or worse, as a DC fan, I always had hoped that we had gotten something closer to that. Sorry, where they show me a Batman. Don't give me his origin. Everybody knows it, just like Spider-Man. But give me a Batman. Give him a movie. Give me a Superman. Give him a movie. Let me know other people exist. Build them together. Have a team. The reason that it fucking works for Marvel is because, if you give these characters their own solo adventures and do them even mediocre, then people are invested when they get together. They're happy to see, oh, I saw each of these movies individually. Now they're talking. That's crazy. It's not as novel as it was with the first Avengers film anymore, obviously, because there's so many huge events, crossover films. But the whole point of this rant was to say that Warner Brothers fucked it up. And it felt like they were finally making something that was starting to work for them. You talked about DC being on a string of films that you actually had enjoyed a lot, to the point where you said you were looking forward to Black Adam, which looks a bit more in the traditional comic book hero vein, but could still do something interesting. We were giving them that chance. And now it just feels like I'm back at the first square. Yeah. And I don't, you know what I mean?
I disagree. Like I understand the point that you're saying, but like about having this like truly realized singular world. I'm not saying that it's not impressive that they did it, but I don't agree with it at this point. At one point I did. You missed my Marvel fanboy years, but they were in there. But it really does become, it's just too much to follow at some point. I like DC's diagram of like, well, this is sort of a sub-universe. I've talked about it on the show before. I won't harp on it for too long, but just for the sake of context, I like that they have these tiny sub-universes where it's like, well, if you liked this, but you don't like Matt Reeves' Batman for some fucking reason, then just don't watch it. You don't have to, because it's not a part of this universe. I like that. It's more manageable. It's less demanding of your time. But it's really hard to argue with the fact that it felt like for a good couple movies and a good couple shows there, they were really banging it out. And now all this weird shit's happening. And it's like, it's a little alarming to see what happened with Batgirl, and just the fact that they were willing to eat. Was it 80 mil?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine just being 90, like, this is going to, like, there has to be like they thought it was going to be so bad it was going to affect the money of their other movies. You know what I mean? Like, because you can't, like, you can't lose the money. You lost it. You spent it already. So, like, this must have been so terribly made that they thought that it was going to suck away sales from other shit. They have now, there's like in talks, I know we haven't gotten to this quite yet, but there's like a distant possibility that even the Flash might be scrapped. And it's like, fellas, what's going on here? Like, something's got to be reined in. Someone's got to be reined in. But it was a little discouraging to me, frankly, that they had said, like, we're going to start following the Marvel sort of game plan. Now, it's not, they didn't say we're going to follow the Marvel formula. I think he's more talking about like the movie making aspect of it, or like, I guess tie-in aspect of it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I feel like it's sort of a duopoly with superhero movies, like it has been with comic books for so many decades. And I am just coming around to the point where, dude, I used to fucking shit on DC movies, but they've come out with so much good content the past couple years. And now it just feels like they're going like, well, shit didn't work 3 times in a row, so we're going to change everything. And I don't know. Something just doesn't sit right with me. We'll see what happens, but
yeah.
But yeah.
All right, I had to make sure my meat was working. I did that all discreetly while I was agreeing with you.
Right.
Yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from. I mean, what I was getting at is, I guess original. I wasn't saying I want them to be like Marvel now. I was saying I was sad at first that they weren't, and then they've really kind of come into their own lately. And I was excited by where it was going that way.
Yeah.
You know, I was getting on board with the decisions that were being made. Even on the more what I would call like popcorn friendly entries. And now we just don't know. We don't know what's happening. And you're right. We didn't talk, we didn't have explicit like confirmation. And of course you kind of never will get it of exactly why they canceled Batgirl, but it looks like there was a tax loophole where because of the recent merger, if they wrote off projects that weren't released, they were going to be able to recoup some of those costs as like some function of the merger. Like new leadership comes in, they expect there to be some kind of like shuffling around of things. They can write it off basically. And yeah, they literally they had like a call, and the new head of Warner Brothers Discovery, his name is escaping me at the moment, was said more or less, you know, we don't want to release anything that we don't think is going to do good things for the brand, which is like the shittiest way of saying it wasn't really up to snuff.
Yeah.
And there are several projects that were slated for streaming. Like there's a Blue Beetle movie coming out still with the kid from fucking Karate Kid. But it sounds like they were saying we're not doing these direct to streaming service superhero films. They're either going to be theatrical release or they're not coming out.
Yeah.
And I guess they just thought that Batgirl didn't have that potential. And that's fucked up, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know if the movie's shit, right? But I saw it. Ooh. I saw a behind the scenes image because people are just releasing shit now because the movie's scrapped of Keaton in the bat suit. And I sent you one of them, but there's another one that came out earlier today of him like kind of in like a fighting stance. And I was like, oh, I just want that. Just give it to me, baby.
Just give me those scenes. Yeah. Keep all the others.
No. Literally. Take the movie. Give me all the scenes with Keaton in them. And maybe baby boy Brendan Fraser. I want to see him. I want to see how he's doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, fuck corporations, right?
Fuck them.
Fuck them. Zaslav is the new CEO's surname.
Hate it. I disagree with that.
Hate it. You disagree with his last name?
Yeah.
Me too. Thanks for our sponsor this week, HBO Max. We know you're leaving us soon because of the new merger, but it's okay. We'll still watch. This is the other piece of news that came out of this. HBO Max and Discovery Plus will officially merge into one streaming service in 2023. One makes sense. They're one company, you know, cannibalize the other. They're together now, whether they like it or not. Stockholm Syndrome. It makes sense to merge your shit because no one wants another streaming service.
Yeah.
That being said, Samantha had actually she wanted Discovery Plus because there was a couple things on it she wanted to watch. My concern is they're probably gonna up the price, right?
100% they will. Yeah.
Like at least
it's $2 now, so we're gonna
at least like $5 to make it like 20 a month.
Yeah.
And I don't. Ooh.
Yeah.
I think HBO Max is worth the current price. I don't know if everyone agrees with that, but I do. There's enough quality content on there that I.
What is it? I can't keep track of all the different services.
It's like 15.
It's like not even that crazy, especially compared to Netflix, which is like what 21 now or something.
I stopped telling me that. I forgot completely how much I was paying for it.
Hey, stop telling me.
Hey, I like to live in ignorance. Thank you very much. Anyway, what are we doing? We're gonna start talking World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
no, I'm kidding. All right, we have more.
This is now a World of Warcraft.
We can't stop playing.
Can't. I'm in that end game, baby.
Addicted. We gotta get people up to snuff. We have a little bit more DC news, and then we'll switch chains. I'm gonna switch gears, not switch chains. silly bitch.
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, you fucking doofus. This last piece of news is about Ezra Miller. Warner Brothers still reportedly gonna release the Flash film,
Right.
and apparently they are weighing 3 different scenarios if you're an asshole.
Right.
Depending on how things go, because they're not going great right now for Ezra Miller. According to Hollywood Reporter, which of course we've talked about before, but historically it's like what they release is usually gospel. Like they're not known for releasing bullshit.
Yeah.
According to THR, that's the Hollywood Reporter, if you missed that acronym, Warner Brothers is reportedly considering 3 different scenarios. The first involves releasing the film with limited press. Apparently, Warner's only stipulation in this situation would be that Miller seeks professional help after returning to their family home. Eventually, they would have to give an interview explaining their behavior. Miller would then do a limited amount of press following the film's release, but basically it's like I can not see his personality apologizing.
Me neither. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I might like him as an actor, but he just seems like the kind of fucking like I'm an actor like dickhead that just would never say
I don't
sorry
have to do that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like you. I'm better. Thank you. I'll be here all week. I was proud of that one.
Did you see that meme that was like Ezra Miller is like a video game character that just spawns in random places in the world and hurts people? It's like Ezra Miller burglarized a home in Vermont. It's like 2 weeks before that he was in like California or something. Like, what do you do? Aren't you on the run?
It's making good time, bro. That's what he's doing.
Double on the run. Seriously. My God.
So you really crossed those states, didn't you? The second potential option is still releasing the film, even if he doesn't seek help. They would not participate in marketing or press for the film, which we talked about before. That was that's what I assumed they were going to do, because they said the Flash was still a go even under new leadership. Apparently, they've not only have they had really good test screenings, but all of the internal staff that came over from the new merger have seen it. They're all very excited about it. So, I've honestly, besides Miller being a cunt, we've heard nothing but good things about this film so far. People have enjoyed it, which makes me excited and nervous, because the third solution is if Miller continues to deteriorate in public, they may scrap the movie entirely.
Yeah.
Think about it. We know there's more than one version of his character in the film. We've seen it in the trailer. So he plays multiple characters and it's got to be in almost every scene of the film.
Yeah.
So it's impossible to reshoot or recast. They would never spend that money. But even not releasing it is like a worst case scenario for them, because the fucking cost of the film was like $200 million.
Yeah.
So that's a nut they're not willing to lose.
Yeah.
Look. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't ever want to champion bad behavior by rewarding him. Here's what I hope. Here's what would make me sleep better at night. I hope he doesn't have a piece of the gross. If he's already been paid, damage has already been done. Water under the bridge. Wash your hands of him. Don't ever go back. And I'll sleep better at night knowing that I'm paying Warner Brothers to see the movie and not paying his bad behavior.
Yeah.
Just hope he doesn't.
I think he's a piece of shit. I think he's a total, like, it's easy to laugh at, but like he's genuinely a bad person, right? And so like, it doesn't change the fact that, like, just think that you're the head of Warner Brothers and you've put all this money into it. I don't think that they're going to scrap it, especially after they just ate Batgirl. And whatever tax refund, whatever it is, sure. But it's like potential money that they just decided to miss out on. I don't think they're going to do it a second time. So I also agree with you that I think that he's a cunty actor and he's a young actor, which is a horrible mix, being young and rich and famous and handsome.
And full of cum.
And full of cum that he's willing to share, even to those who won't accept.
Oh, no.
I hope that they snub him in promotion. Just push Keaton. Why not? Everybody loves Keaton. You know it.
Everybody loves the Keaton.
Release the movie. We'll hold our nose through the Miller scenes and then just fucking cut him off. He's done. He's out.
Cut him.
Everybody wins.
So I'm not trying to shame you here, because Lord knows that I don't think he deserves it. But I always forget that Miller goes by they them pronouns.
Oh, right.
And when
yeah.
I was reading the article, I was only being so good about it because the article I was completely ripping off of said it. And every once in a while, I would say they would not participate in marketing, which sounds like a normal sentence. And then they would say like, whatever. I can't find another sentence, but it would refer to him. Sorry, would refer. Say it again.
Yeah.
Would refer to them.
It's hard to respect someone when they're a piece of shit, though, isn't it?
That's what I was working towards. I was gonna go. I feel like I did particularly well remembering during that time, but like, fuck him.
Yeah.
You don't deserve to have me respect that shit when you're like such a bag of just dog.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Your pronoun rights have been revoked.
Yeah, we collectively as the public we have revoked his pronoun rights. You bag of
I want to be
shit.
clear. His with an H.
Yeah, his. Anyway, moving on. Marvel. We got Marvel news. We have some Halo 2 news. I know, very random. Some cringy Forspoken news. I forgot that was in there. And then some Activision, actually kind of good guy corporation here. So we're gonna fucking do this one. So right, we're excited. By the way, She-Hulk premieres Thursday, so we'll have
Oh shit! Good.
however
to
many
know.
episodes of that comes out. We'll watch that and talk about it next week. We know Charlie Cox coming back for Daredevil. Super stoked about that.
The Coxman.
He's a real cocksmith. People have been speculating. I will say that's the correct word. Speculation about whether or not John Bernthal's Punisher will be returning, whether or not Luke Cage, Mike Coulter's Luke Cage, will be returning, and whether or not I always forget her name. Shit, I don't want to be the guy who forgets the woman's name. Jessica Ritter.
Jessica.
It's
sure.
something. So it's Jessica Jones. It's there's no way it's Jessica Ritter. It's Jessica Jones. I'm gonna look it up.
I'm gonna let you.
Jones.
I'm gonna let you redeem yourself. On this
Kristen.
one.
It's Kristen Ritter.
Kristen.
It was Ritter. I had her last name right.
Kristen.
I'm so sorry for forgetting your first name, Kristen. You are. The first season of Jessica Jones was actually very good.
Mhm.
Anyway, I never watched the second. I didn't mean to imply the second one was bad. Just never saw it. I'm like energetically spasming
I love
over
it.
these conversations.
I love it.
it. We didn't record last week. I missed you.
Yeah.
I missed you.
I'm low energy,
missed
so
you.
you're making up for my. So I appreciate that. This works
Yeah.
out well.
That's fine.
I have a
Okay.
raspy throat.
Right. I know you're still coughing, and
Yeah.
I know how that feels. You know, when you're trying to record and you're like, kind of hurts.
And you just
So-
want to finish the sentence, but the cough is coming, so you start talking like this towards the end, and you just feel like a dummy.
Yeah.
Like a big dummy.
So give me the cummy.
I'm
Okay.
good.
Our lovely, lovely lady, Rosario Dawson, the queen honey of all honeys, had made a boo-boo. So she was at C2E2, which is a comic
The
expo.
hottest girl you know, give you the best news you've heard.
Yeah, so she's on stage, and there's a video of her, so it's not like it was in writing and she can deny it. She was on stage, and this is verbatim. I found out yesterday that The Punisher was happening again, Dawson revealed. So I feel like it's my second chance because that was the only one of the Netflix shows I wasn't in, and I love John Bernthal. So not only does she confirm Punisher's going to happen again, she reconfirms his casting. Like, that's great news, by the way. We've talked about Bernthal before. I had a lot of love for that guy
Yeah.
as an actor.
Wonderful.
I
actor.
recently found out he's got a podcast called Real Ones with John Bernthal.
I wonder what his real
And-
voice sounds like, because he's always doing an accent, always doing like a
He's
Boston
just-
accent or something.
He's got this low gravelly. It's like testosterone gravy that I want to spread on my nipples. No, he just seems like a really nice fucking down to earth guy, and he has conversations with all kind of cool people. And it's on his YouTube channel. The viewer counts aren't like crazy though. 70,000 is a lot for a video, but not in the world of like crazy YouTube videos.
Yeah,
And anyway, free plug for him for the 4 people that listen.
we love you, Johnny.
Point of the story is Rosario Dawson let some shit slip that she probably got a call from Kevin Feige
Yeah,
over.
he was probably pretty upset.
They're probably pretty upset. We've heard tales of people getting in trouble for saying shit like this before, but this is good news. Punisher ran for 2 seasons. Some people liked that show, some people didn't.
I never watched it.
I loved the first season, and I thought the second one was just okay.
Mhm.
But it had the same brutality as he did in the Daredevil show. I mean, there's a scene where he's fighting people in a gym and using weights. And like
Oh,
every
hell
time you
yeah.
hit somebody, you're like, oh God, broken bones. Yeah. Love the first show. It was a lot more somber. He was a former, was he a Marine in the fucking, I always forget.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
He
Just
was
pick one.
he went through boot camp. I'll say it. There you go. He did service. I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone who's in the military, but I'm ignorant, so teach me. They cover like PTSD and trauma in returning soldiers in a very like realistic and like respectful way
Hmm.
in the first one, and I just liked it a lot. And if you haven't seen it, you should circle back.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Should.
cool. That's coming out.
Very
That's
good.
cool.
Very good news. That's cool.
That's a very cool news. Also, in the again ADHD tonight, but in the same vein as coming out. Well, that sounds like it could be
I
going
was
on.
like, whoa,
Wait.
let's do it.
Wait. Coming out tonight on network television. Gotcha.
In the same vein of coming out, I'm moving out with my wife and kid. They're staying here. Bye. New life.
In the same vein as coming out, she is my, what do they call? She's my hag, and I'm actually attracted to men.
I think it's beard.
No, is it beard?
Beard is
Oh,
the
that would
name
make
for-
sense,
Right,
like,
right. You're
covering
it up. Yeah.
What's hag from?
I don't know. Both of our beards are coming in nicely, though.
Anyway, Better Call Saul's series finale is tonight.
Oh, is it really? Great. So
You
I'm
gotta
going
ca-
to
you
get
gotta
it
catch up.
spoiled when I have like 10 episodes left. That's wonderful.
Where are you right now?
I am on I stayed up really late last night to watch episode 3 of season 6.
Oh, dude, shit pops off
Yeah.
immediately in the beginning. We haven't really talked about
I've
the
been
show.
like minefielding spoilers left and right.
Yeah.
It's like really,
We haven't really talked about the show other than to say like we both like it, and I'm waiting for us to finish it so that hey, we'll talk about the series finale next week.
yeah, we
But
could do.
Wait. That's a lot. Are you sure you're okay with that? There's 10
let's see. Yeah, maybe. I'd like to
There's-
because again, I don't want to get hit with spoilers, so I don't want to push it out
There's
too long.
13 episodes, so if you're only on 3, you get 10.
Oh, that's 10. That's 10 hours of televisor.
You get as far as you can.
Yeah.
We potentially talk about it, maybe not. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. You know, we got real lives and shit. Back up.
Yeah, take it easy. Jesus Christ.
If you want,
Listeners.
I'll make a Patreon that doesn't promise you anything, and you can just pay us to not have to work and
Yeah.
make the podcast. That'd be great, actually.
That'd
if
be
you
awesome.
could
Please do that.
Get on top of that. All right, couple more pieces of news before trailers. There was a bounty put out for someone critical was it moist critical moist some fucking yeah, he just goes by critical, whatever. I thought there was something else with it. Anyway, I sound like such a fucking boomer right now. He's a streamer, his name's Critical something.
He plays video games and people watch him.
Yeah, it's a really novel idea. Can you believe he makes money doing that? Anyway, Critical put out a bounty for Halo 2 for someone to beat the game on the hardest difficulty without dying. And it was thought to be an impossible feat. No one's done it, apparently, in 2 decades. But last night, after the bounty was put out, a streamer named, last night when this article was written, which at this point is like a week and a half ago. This was back on 8/4, so it was 8/3. A streamer named Jervalin beat Halo 2's Lasso Deathless Challenge, earning $20,000. Not only did he earn the money, which is good enough that Critical's going to pay him for it. Stand up, honor your word. You said you would pay somebody. He was streaming and garnered quite a bit of attention for himself while doing so. So,
Right.
like, good for him. He basically just blossomed a fucking Twitch career.
Yeah.
But where do you go from there?
Yeah, right? I mean,
Riddle me that. You can't beat Halo 2 again.
yeah, do it. Speed run it now. I feel like it's not the first time. I feel like somebody had to do it way back in the day.
Yeah.
And just did not get the credit for it. Have you ever played Halo 2 on Legendary? It's exceptionally difficult. It's like you get to the what do they call the jackals with the snipers? They made them like way too accurate.
I've heard that they were like world ending.
It's
For shit.
unbelievable. Even like Jello, when I played it, we co-opted it. and getting
Yeah.
past this one spot that has all these jackal snipers everywhere took us like 2 hours. It was absurd. Just this one stretch of a level that was like 100 in-game feet long. Like, it was fucking absurd. And so to go through the
That's
whole thing
crazy.
and not die at all is just insane. It's crazy.
That's really crazy. Sorry.
But I'm happy for that guy.
His official Twitch name is Moist Critical. I wasn't fucking crazy. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Anyway, now that I looked that shit up, his real name is Charles White Jr.
No wonder he
so
goes by
the-
Moist Critical. Jeez, what a
I
boring
would too.
name. I fell asleep halfway through. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Charles. Okay. So I'll tell you the whole story. Earlier this summer, Charles he posted a $5,000 bounty to beat Halo 2 on the highest difficulty setting with every bonus challenge modifier turned on without dying. Like, even saying that sentence out loud, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
In the 18 years since Halo 2's 2004 release on Xbox, no one had ever published evidence. Like you said, I'm sure someone had done it. No one had ever published evidence of completing the challenge. White's challenge stipulated that the whole run was streamed either on YouTube or Twitch. By July, no one had done it, so he tacked on an extra 15 grand, and
Jesus.
this motherfucker stepped up and took the gold. Good for him.
Good for that fella. Good for him.
It's a feel good story in the world of video games.
Yeah.
You know, just good old videos.
I'm assuming this is the OG too, not like the anniversary edition.
I believe so.
Yeah, that would be kind of strange. I guess it wouldn't matter.
Apparently, I haven't watched the clip of when he finishes the game, but apparently he was like remarkably chill about it.
Really?
there's
That's so
there's
much cooler. I thought you were going to
there's a-
say he freaked out.
There's a quote of him here, and it says, all right, chat, he said, I think we did it. I think we fucking did it. Imagine that. 2 years ago, I said, I think this is impossible. Imagine fucking that. It sounds like he was like in shock about it.
Right.
He's like, did I just win $20,000? Like looking all over the place.
I watched a video of a guy hit the world record for speedrunning Mega Man X, and he had no camera, and he broke down crying his eyes out. It's like, I put 5 years of work into this, and I was like,
Holy
okay,
shit, dude.
I mean, I'm happy for you, but let's take it easy here, buddy.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Remember that?
Oh,
game
here's
Forspoken?
a little add-on to
Oh.
that story. He made some jokes about trans people, and they took the title away from him. Like, he's still on the leaderboards, but it just says like unknown for his name. Like, they will not credit him. His time is up there, but his name gone.
And that's what you want when you're chasing those things. You want the notoriety.
Exactly. You want people to see
What a
your
great
name.
punishment for being an asshole.
Yeah, we'll acknowledge that your time's up there, but we're not going to like associate
Yeah.
your identity with it at all.
Yeah. No one will know what you've done.
I wonder if he's still up there. I wonder if he still holds
I've seen that in movies before, but they just kill the guy.
Right.
Your
They could have
greatest
done
failure.
that too. Yeah.
Failures. No one will know who you were. No. All I wanted people to remember. Anyway, remember that game Forspoken?
I do, unfortunately.
We saw, unfortunately, when we first saw a teaser for this, it looked pretty juice.
The
Square
gameplay
Enix.
does look pretty juice, though.
The magic casting, the combat looked very fun. And then a couple days ago, the Forspoken Twitter account released an ad for the game, 30 seconds long. And it's very cringy.
Extremely.
Have you watched it? So first and foremost, I didn't realize this because the show hadn't come out yet, but they modeled the main character and the voice is done by the woman who played the main character in Resident Evil.
Jade
the-
Pursley.
the-
I thought
yeah.
it was her. I didn't look it up, but it looks exactly
Yeah.
like her, so I figured.
Yeah. And that's cool, but holy shit, the trailer is so bad. So it's a short little ad of her casting magic, which still looks cool, by the way.
Yeah,
Like,
it does.
The combat still looks cool despite this, but it's like a real like it's like a so let me get this straight. I'm somewhere that's not what I would call Earth. Like she's like, I'm seeing freaking dragons is in the fucking
I know it
dialogue.
hurts me so bad to hear it
I'm
because
seeing
it's the same thing from
Freaking
Shazam.
dragons.
I just threw a bus
Oh.
at a freaking dragon. It's now I'm reliving it again. That PTSD.
It is. And then she goes, yeah, okay, that is something I do now. It's so So the whole point is that it's really cringy. And
Yeah.
it's really like oof.
Some really good memes came out of it. though.
Yeah, some really good memes have come out of it. Look, this could just be a marketing thing. I'm sure she doesn't say those sentences in the game, or at least I pray to fucking God she doesn't. And for what it's worth, the combat does still look really cool.
Yeah.
The magic looks like a really fun, awesome take on casting magic spells, and I hope that it comes out and is fantastic. And we wouldn't be gamers if we couldn't look past terrible writing to play a fun game, right?
It's true.
So
It's a very good point.
I'll take this challenge.
Hit me with it. Hit me with
I'm
that
ready
shit.
for it. Fucking hit me with your best shot.
It's beautiful too, though. But I did see like they released like an actual gameplay, like a real play video of it, and
Yeah.
holy fucking shit, the FPS was really bad. And I'm like, why would you release this? Like, I think everything else they've done must have been pre-rendered, like beefed up in some way, because it looks really good in all the other trailers. But the just straight like raw gameplay. Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude!
Hot garbage.
I think it's a PS5 exclusive, so they must have been using that tech, and it was at like it had to be like 30 or less. I mean, like, ugh, bad, very bad.
Let's hope they optimize it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Last news article. Well, there were two, but one of them was talking about Anne Heche, and I don't really want to talk about Anne Heche. Look, I'll do this super quick. I didn't know that she passed away until a couple hours after she passed away.
Mhm.
And the article that I read was like Anne Heche and all the good, like the movies she was in and how she was this good actress. And then I found out how she died. And I don't care. First off, I don't want anybody to suffer. So the fact that she probably did a little bit
Yeah,
makes me sad, because the way that she died, like
pretty
she
gruesome.
crashed into a house. The house caught on fire. She obviously was like severely burned. And from the crash, I think she had some kind of like brain injury, or like, I don't know, it was blood in the brain or something.
Mhm.
She's brain dead. She, but she like, there was video did you see the video from like TMZ? I really dug into this, and I don't know why. There's video from TMZ of them pushing like a person into an ambulance. It's her, but you can't tell. She all of a sudden, she's laying back, sits up like all the way, and like she looks like a zombie. She looks like she looks like she came to briefly and was like, where am I? Like, let me out of here. Like that like moment where you think like someone stands up and they think they're okay, and then they just like fall down dead. You know what I mean?
Oh no, that sounds horrifying.
It's pretty. You can see that her shirt's a little burned. Like she got
Yeah.
fucking like. Anyway, the whole point was
Well, she was like engulfed in flame, wasn't she? Like she was like completely like on fire. Not to put such an insensitive spin
Yeah.
on it. I think just saying covered in burns is enough, but I said engulfed in flame.
My brain makes the worst fucking meme ideas. Oh no. Oh no. I can't do it.
Just tell me what it is, though.
No.
Let me
I
be the
can't.
judge, please.
Can I just say it involves the Fantastic Four?
Oh no. Oh god.
I'm so sorry.
Johnny Heche.
To the family and friends of Anne Heche, if you ever happen to hear this, I want you to know that I am not making fun of your sadness. Anyway, the whole reason I put it in here was to say that I didn't know any of this, that she struggled horribly with addiction and was, by all accounts, like severely fucked up when she went behind the wheel. So I was actually going to poo-poo her a bit and say, I know she died horribly. That's very sad. And yes, I'm sure she was a wonderful person, but she also chose to get fucked up and go behind the wheel of a car and endangered the lives of so many people on the way to her final destination. And that was not supposed to be like a sick reference, but it kind of was. Pat myself on the back. And you always have to look at all sides of somebody to judge them in context. And I just, like, it got worse and worse. Like, I saw she died and I went, oh, that's sad. And I found this article. This is just my personal journey through this news. I found this article that was talking about all the great shit she did. And at the end, it was just like a little bit like, let's remember her by her best moments. And I went, that feels like a weird thing to say. And I looked into it more. She like backed into someone else's like car. She got into like another accident before she hit the fucking house. Like, she was out on the road completely high and fucked up.
What was she addicted to, or does it not specify?
I don't know. I know she
guess it
had
doesn't
struggles with alcohol, but I think she was also on something else
Right.
as well. Anyway, she was 53. She was taken very early. Again, it's always sad to me when someone loses their fight against whatever substance abuse they're on. At the same time, it's hard for me in context to be super like forgiving of someone who decides to do that to themselves and then get in a fucking car
Yeah.
and just endanger the lives of countless other people. There's again, because I looked at TMZ, there's a video in the
Was she
neighborhood.
the only person injured in this whole thing?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm sorry. There's a like a driveway, like doorbell cam footage of another house in the neighborhood she was in when she crashed,
Yeah.
of her driving through it. This is like a residential neighborhood. She's going like fucking 80,
Jesus Christ.
just down the street. You hear tires squeal before she comes into frame, and then she zooms by, and you can hear her hit the fucking house.
Oh, I gotta watch this.
It's like morbidly interesting.
But I will say this:
also-
I'm not happy that she went down that painfully. But when I see
Yeah.
drunk drivers, in my head, I hope that they die. That's my. I'm being completely serious. I'm like,
Absolutely.
I hope you get in a single car accident and you die, and then you never have to subject.
But just you.
anyone
Like, I don't
else.
want you to hurt anybody
Yes,
else.
that's what
Just,
I'm saying. Single car,
yeah.
hit a tree or something. Nobody gets hurt. Only you. You break your neck. I hope it's quick. And then there's the possibility of you ever hurting anyone ever again is totally gone.
Nullified. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're back to zero. Balance the scales.
I don't hope they
I'm-
burn to death.
No, that's horrible. She died very, very horribly.
Yeah.
It's tragic. It sucks when someone suffers like that. I would like to amend your statement to also include motorcyclists who weave in between cars on the
Oh,
highway.
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
I want them to get into an accident and die, not hurt anybody else,
Yeah.
not crash in a car.
You ever hear someone say this? They go, like someone cuts them off and they go, I hope they crash. I hope they don't get hurt, but I hope they total their car. I'm like, no. Not enough energy on that. You
Yeah, you're
gotta
not
hope
going
they
that far
die.
enough. So what you're telling me is you're a pussy, because we all know what you're implying, and you're just trying to cover it up now. You're trying to have your cake and eat it too.
And now as
You
I get
want-
older, I used to just go like, I hope that guy dies. And then later I'd be like, that was not a cool thing to think about another human being. Now I'm like,
Yeah.
I still hope that guy dies. I hope he's dead right now. It just stays with me.
Yeah.
Don't drive like a fucking asshole, and I won't wish death on you. It's not like I have a power. It's not going to come true. I mean, statistically, eventually it will come true, but
Right. Of course. How else would you? All right, moving on. And H, whatever. Last thing before we do our trailers.
Rest in peace.
There was a story a couple weeks ago about the same shit you see all the time. A small indie artist on like DeviantArt had posted images of this like a dog character with a gun. Cute little thing. Cute little buddy boy. What's Sam, whatever. I forget how you pronounce it.
Samoyed, I think. Samoyed.
Sure. I'm going to default to that pronunciation. So someone had made this character, and basically like Call of Duty ripped it off. Like
Yeah.
not even like a little bit. It's like blatantly like it's almost the exact same fucking character. They just changed a couple of things and like put it in the fucking game. And you know, typically the internet just jumps on Activision without understanding that the corporation of Activision, I'm going to sound like I'm defending them, but you have to be realistic here. The corporation themselves, Activision, would never go, yes, let's commit fraud.
Yeah.
Let's take this guy's work. This was, I would almost guarantee, the work of an overworked, underpaid developer who was asked to push content out, saw some shit online they liked, and maybe just decided to take a shortcut. And unfortunately for that developer who did that, the guy who made it fucking noticed.
Yeah.
And you got called out. That guy's probably fired. I have no idea. They didn't say anything about
Yeah.
it. But Activision did the good thing. They took it off. They said the publisher said the mistake was regrettable. They pulled the skin that was completely just plagiarized, and they apologized for what they called a misstep. And good for them. And I just wish that again, I sound like I'm sucking the fucking dick of Activision. By the way, thanks for the sponsor, Activision. But like, I wish the amount of response to the story that they took the skin down and tried to make things right was proportionate to the amount of people that were immediately pitchforking Activision, even though it's clearly not something like the corporation, like the board sat around and was like,
Yeah.
steal that fucking dog skin, bitch. I like that's all. That's all I wanted to say. It's like I just good.
So
good job that
was
they
the guy like
rectified it.
was the guy or gal like given any compensation, or was it just like a C&D was issued and like, or were they just being
They
bros
just
because of public
fucking-
outcry?
I really don't know. This is the sitch. I don't know this. He was not compensated for it. I know that.
Yeah.
I think they just took it
So,
down and
he's
decided
not
not to use
happy.
it.
He's like, fuck, I wanted to sue these guys.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to get money out of this.
Oh yeah.
It's not about artistic integrity. It's about money. No,
course.
that is, you don't see that too often. They have the resources and law team that they probably could have at least, drawn that out until they exhausted the other guy's funds. So yeah, I agree. It's, still fuck them and all the
Right.
decisions, the other 99 million decisions that they've ever made, but this was a cool one.
Right. Yeah, and then for every like 7-8 comments about how much of an asshole Activision is and how could they think they would get away with this, there's like one person going, yeah, you guys realize that this was like one artist who found this guy's work, borrowed way too heavily, and didn't list the original concept work as a reference before it got approved. It's 100% what probably happened. Anyway,
Yeah.
That's all we got. Moving on. Good guy Activision for taking it down at least. Would be better if he just paid the guy.
Yeah.
Because he probably wants to make money. And hey, he's a good artist. So maybe you should take him instead of the asshole who went and ripped his work off, right? Do little swapsies. Give him that guy's exact job and fire that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
Would you let
make
us
the
do it
stuff.
for a job? Would
Yeah.
you do it for money?
We have a couple of, I wouldn't say weird, but like, there's not a lot of superhero trailers here.
No, I would
Um,
call these trailers zany. That's the word I just felt like using it. But
I mean, the first one is definitely
it's
zany.
pretty zany. It's a very
It's-
zany trailer.
It's called Tiny Cinema.
Remember Billy Zane?
I did.
Like
I do.
Billy Zane.
I do indeed. Whatever happened to Billy Zane?
I don't know. He's still got a great voice, though, that guy. He pops up
He
in
does.
films from time to time with his silky voice.
Yeah.
He zanes it up a bit. And he goes home. Billy Zane.
Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, yo. What a good joke that was.
Yeah.
There's so many layers to that. I gotta give that to Kevin Smith. By the way, woof. I watched the Jane Silent Bob reboot.
Uh-oh.
Now,
Uh-oh.
it wasn't good.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be, and there was all the references you would expect. I have one very positive thing to say about it, and the rest is not even worth talking about. I just
Hit me
do
with the
shitty.
posse. Hit me with the posse. Pause me up.
Posse. Of course, he brings all his friends back. He always does.
Yeah.
So Ben Affleck makes a cameo towards the end,
Right.
and they're always referencing themselves as real actors, but also pretending they're still these people in these
Yeah.
movies. You know what I mean? He'll be like, "Oh, Ben Affleck." I think Affleck said Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms or something. Anyway, they're talking about so. What's her name? From Amy from Chasing Amy. They're talking about this is in the future, and Amy and I forget his character's name in the story, but we'll just say Ben Affleck. Amy and Ben Affleck, she was a lesbian in the movie. And
Oh, that's not Amy. Amy
Oh.
was Silent Bob. It doesn't matter. I know who you're talking about, though. It doesn't matter. I shouldn't have even corrected you.
That's okay. What was the actress's name?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But Amy was just the story that Silent Bob had about. That was his ex, Amy.
Joey Lauren Adams plays Alyssa Jones.
There we go.
His name was Holden. Fuck, I should remember that. Anyway,
I fucking loved Chasing Amy when I was growing up. It's the only reason I remembered that. I was like
It was
in love with that
a
movie.
rather solid film.
It's like one of his first like really kind of. It's funny, but it's got like really serious elements to it. It's very
and he
heavy.
didn't do badly. I don't know if we've ever talked about. We might have at some point, but Red State, that movie he did.
Yeah.
I quite liked that film.
I have to
too.
watch it again. I watched it when it came out and never since, but I remember thinking it was good. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a thriller, like a almost
Every-
political thriller or something.
Every once in a while, he surprises
Yeah,
me, and then he goes
yeah.
right back to the same bucket. Anyway, whatever. He shits and eats in the same one. Anyway, you know, they're all older, and Alyssa and Holden are there, and she's with a woman because she's a lesbian, and it turns out that they're all still great friends. Holden actually was the donor so that Alyssa and her partner could have a kid. So that's his daughter, and he's got a daughter now. And the speech that he gives, because in the whole thing is Jay has a daughter with hot girl from American Pie. I always forget her name.
That one.
That one. Jay had a daughter with her he didn't know about, which is played by Kevin Smith.
How weird is it that in that movie they were spying on a girl getting naked through a webcam?
Very weird.
It's very strange. A lot of stuff from back when. Sorry, continue.
Don't fuck me up. I'm already off topic. Anyway, so the whole movie's about Jay's daughter, who's played by Kevin Smith's daughter, doesn't know that he's her father, and he's, you know, trying to talk to her about it. And she's fucked up about not having ever met her father. Ben Affleck shows up. He's got this kid who's now his daughter. He gives a beautiful speech, and I mean this like a whole heart. You should go watch just this part. To Silent Bob,
honestly,
to Silent Bob and Jay about what it means to be a parent. And he's basically like, I'm not gonna remember the words, but it's a gorgeous way to look at being a parent, and about how like the general gist is like when you become a parent, like your hopes and dreams take a back seat, but that's because you're channeling all your energy into making sure that this new person's hopes and dreams can come true. And it's like you're no longer the main character in your own play, and it's now like you're being a support. And I don't. They phrased it so fucking beautifully, and I was completely sober when I watched it, and I'm like just crying, which is not weird for me, but like I didn't expect it. Like the movie is so goofy, and it just, you know, the whole time they're like, their tongue is so far on their fucking cheek it's gonna break a hole through it.
Yeah,
and it's this really beautiful scene that is like heartwarming, and I want everyone. to watch it.
I love it. I'm gonna watch it. It's not a priority.
Love it. Anyway, sorry, we have trailers to talk about, and I want to get through them. So Tiny Cinema, singular.
Just one tiny cinema, one of them.
There's not a chain of them, because you need a lot of mice. I don't know. A lot of Ant-Men.
Wait, you're digging your hole even deeper now.
I don't know.
You said it can't be that many because you need a lot of mice.
Anyway, this movie comes out September 6th. It's just a weird bunch of like seemingly just disparate stories about like I feel like tickled you on that one. I don't know.
Now I'm imagining like an usher that's like a little mouse with the vest on and everything.
Yeah, it's
sir,
a bunch
can
of
I
Stuart
see your
Littles.
ticket, sir?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of Stuart Littles. This is like a weird type of. It's almost like a horror anthology, but it's not. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe this fucking thing. It just looks cool to me, and I wanted to put it in here and talk to you about it.
It looks really creepy and weird. Like it just has like a strange vibe to it that's very interesting to me. It looks like it plays on. I think we've said 100 quadrillion times that I don't really like horror as much as I like thrillers, especially psych thrillers. This movie looks like it's going to make you feel fucking weird and dirty watching it. And even though they make me feel weird and dirty, it's always like, all right, well, job well done. You did it.
That's what we all want, really, at the end of the day, is to feel weird and
I
dirty.
just want to feel unsafe. I want to finish this movie and then go, I'm going to wait an hour before I go to bed so I don't have any nightmares.
Right.
Got to shake off this weird feeling.
Right.
But I agree. It's looks like almost like a collection of short films or something, but I don't know. Maybe it's all the same fella who does it. I have no idea, but it looks good.
It is. So Tyler Cornack is the director. I've never seen anything he's done before, but at 50 seconds in this trailer, on screen pops up from the makers of Butt Boy.
Oh yeah. I never saw Butt Boy.
And I gotta tell you, having this trailer that's building so much dread just be interrupted by the makers of Butt Boy. I was like, what? Am I being punked right now? But yeah, it says this is six individual tales that I think are like supposed to not feel like they have any relation, but then might end up having some kind of relation. And they are all over the place. And I don't really have a great way to describe this trailer other than if you have any interest in weird shit, you should go watch it right now. The trailer came out August 3rd. This is going to be streaming everywhere on demand September 6th. I will most definitely be checking it out when it comes out.
This trailer looks the way Coming Down from Coke feels. That's the best way I can. That's the best way I can describe it. So if you're into that, check it out. If you're into Coke, but not how it makes you feel when it's wearing off, but you want to emulate that without subjecting yourself to the heart damage that doing cocaine would assuredly do.
Yeah.
Watch this trailer and then maybe the movie afterwards.
Right. Both. Why not both?
¿Por qué no los dos?
All right. Have you, let me posit this to you. Have you ever decided that you wanted to play a game that combined Minecraft, Doom, and Minecraft? Fortnite. Sorry, Fortnite.
Not till I saw this trailer, I didn't.
So, segueing beautifully into a trailer for Meet Your Maker, which is going to be coming out on the PS4 and PS5. That's just those two platforms. So it's an exclusive, it looks like. Coming out in 2023, the year of our Lord. And this trailer, I'm sorry to say it, starts off by immediately putting a bad taste in my mouth because the 5 seconds in it says from the creators of Dead by Daylight, and I immediately went, "Oh, Derek's trolling me." I don't know. You seem to be more into this than I am. What is drawing you into it?
It seems like okay, so it takes place in the future. Setting doesn't matter, but let's just go over it. It takes place in the future. Everybody's robots. They're all robots, and they are all scavenging for, I forget what they call it. It's biological material. It's like gold in this universe of in this universe of robots. So anyway, it seems like it's just like there's a mode where you create your own base with all your own little defenses. You can have like spikes coming out of the walls and shit, and set up enemies to whatever. And then
it's a Doom level.
Yeah, and then other people can invade your base, and you can invade theirs as well. And you basically run the gauntlet that they made to try to get through, get the cum, and then get out. The building,
give me the cum.
The building aspect of it looks so like minimal and with like no effort was put into it. The gameplay kind of looks like a little fun. It looks like it's really high octane. Doom Eternal type stuff. There's like grappling hooks and jetpacks and jump pads and all that. I don't know. That kind of stuff is just fun to me. I will say this, and this is what I said when I sent it to you as well. I never trust a gameplay video where it's only showing you like 1.5 second clips of the gameplay at once. I need to see one stream of it all together because you can make any one little short little blink of an eye cut look good. It's if it's, janky or not when you put it all together that really counts. The concept of it to me is just kind of cool though. I like that, like building your base and you're setting these traps and you're trying to make it as difficult for people to get in as you can. I'm sure there's some limiting factor. Like you can't have a unjumpable gap between, the core and
right.
But how that's going to work, I don't know. This isn't something I'm going to buy day one, but like it just popped up on my YouTube, like, recommended whatever.
Yeah.
And, put it on. I had the same thought as you, immediately turned off by the Dead by Daylight. But I was kind of surprised by how fun it looked. So we'll see as more sort of uncut footage of it comes out. But I am discouraged now that it's only on PS4, PS5. I feel like any game that's with like crafting or building, it's just so infinitely better on PC. So that's a little weird to me, but
I do agree. Although, the PS5 can take a keyboard and mouse, and my PS5's at my computer desk.
Yeah.
So I could technically try. Well, but then again, it all comes down to if the game supports those inputs. Mm-hmm. So they might just not.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. To me, this screams like the Doom Eternal of Paper Mario, or like Super Mario Maker.
Right.
That's better. And I was never really been into those games, like do challenge levels that people made. Yeah. I totally understand the allure. It's just not my cup of tea, if you will.
It's not your cuppa.
It's just having not my cuppa, not my cup of cum. Got a whole mug of it downstairs. It's an old reference. You're welcome. Thanks for the mug, Scoot. I haven't used it in a while because every time I pull it out, Samantha just looks at it and goes, "Ew."
What does it say? This mug is full of cum?
It's just like I have an entire cup of cum or something like that. It's I'm not awake in the morning until I've had an
Don't
entire,
talk to me until
yeah,
I've had a whole mug of cum.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It was very funny.
Oh God.
I still sleep next to Timothy Oliphant every night too.
I'm happy to hear it. I've got
I
my
lay in
little
bed,
Captain America Derek right here, always watching me.
I give him a little, and I go to bed. All right. Yeah. I don't. It's. You're right. The running and gunning, the gameplay, that looks fun. It does very heavily look like a Doom or like a Quake arena shooter or something like that. And it's clearly what they're striving for. There's nothing but traps and fast movement. It could be really cool. It could be just kind of meh, which is where I think it's going to end up falling on the spectrum.
Very possible.
I say this like probably once an episode, but I don't ever want anything to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope it's not.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And also, not only from keyboard mouse perspective for wanting on PC, but any kind of thing like this, you want just the largest install base possible. So make it cross plat, baby. Plat. Gotta get that plat. Anyway, moving on. We have two more things. Two more trailers to that is. Rick and Morty season 6 official trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Seasons 1 through 5 on our sponsor this week, HBO Max. Season 6 is going to be premiering September 4th, so pretty soon. I don't really. This is just more Rick and Morty.
Yeah, right. Like that's what I watch, and I'm like, okay, cool, but like, what do I say here? Looks funny. Looks like it's full of the over the top action, which I think is becoming the best part of those shows. It's like, there's a lot of points where it sort of takes itself too seriously, and I think when I was like an edgy 25-year-old, I thought that was like, wow, man, I never thought about things like that before. Now it's kind of cringy. It's like, all right, get the fuck over yourself and just say a dick joke. So hopefully they'll return to that form. It feels like they have been. Like they're not going so hard on the heavy stuff.
Right.
But
they're just like, how many mechanical arms can come out of Sanchez's ass this time? Which is fine.
I love that. Yeah.
I like that he's like impossibly always prepared for every situation. It's like the most ridiculous version of a scientist Batman. He's like, he's never outclassed by anybody. And it's just fun to me. I don't know. At one point he tells Summer to die hard this shit.
Oh yeah.
And it makes me sad because she's like, wasn't born when it came out. I've never seen it. And I was like, fuck you. That tracks, but fuck you. Yeah, I don't know. I always loved when some of my favorite skits were like Summer coming out with those two and her like outperforming Morty and kind of garnering Rick's favor and making Morty jealous, and then the whole conflict. Like, they've done several of those types of stories, and I always find them fun. So it looks like she's more involved, at least in the stuff we've seen in the trailer, and fun. That sounds fun.
Very good. Very good.
All right, last trailer of the section. We just added it. It's fresh to death. It just came out today.
Fresh off.
Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. It's a first look at his Netflix horror anthology series, which we heard about was coming out quite a while ago. I think they announced it alongside like, oh, he's doing a Pinocchio for Netflix and also this Cabinet of Curiosities. And this isn't so much a trailer as it is like a sneak peek.
Sort of a showcase, yeah.
Yeah, Del Toro himself is here and walks us through some of it. And says something that just makes me just appreciate him so much. He's like, he's at one point he says like, I wanted this show to remind you that the world can be both beautiful and horrifying, and they are both of those things at the same time.
Yeah, that was a great line.
I was like, man, I just gotta suck you to pee-pee. Probably hidden under some rolls. That's fine. I'm overweight too.
Give me the pee-pee.
I'll find it.
Die hard, man.
Fucking
I don't know why they ever in that game like they mocapped him, but they didn't keep his voice. It's just strange to me. They did it to the other director they had in there too, Nicholas Refn or whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah,
I'm like, just keep his original voice. He has such a silky voice. Why would you need someone else to do that?
It's so smoky. So
Smilky.
So silky. It always sounds like he's right on the edge of getting a sore throat because it's a little rasp, but he never goes
gets
there.
there. Yeah.
Never gets there.
Always has that chamomile tea.
Yeah.
Keeps him even out.
Chamomile tea, baby.
So yeah,
This-
it looks like he's like every episode is like totally the director had like creative control,
Yeah, he emphasized it very heavily.
which is awesome. And I feel like that's like becoming a thing that directors do. Like, as David Fincher did that with Love, Death, and Robots. He's like, hey, I'm going to give you an idea of what this episode should be, but the animation and voice acting and writing and all that shit's on you. I guess at some point when you're like such an absurdly famous director, you either get bored or maybe he just wants to be a bro and he just wants to give some of the small time guys a bit of a boost. Who knows? Who knows what the reason
Nice.
is? But I think that's really cool that he went out of his way to say, like, he's kind of saying without saying, like, I didn't have anything to do with this. Like, I left it all up to them.
Yeah. But it's all under his tutelage, right? Maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? I mean, look, some of the people who made episodes in here are people who made Mandy and
Oh,
the
wow.
Babadook. And
I never saw the
Splice.
Babadook. I heard it's really good.
Babadook
Splice
was a pretty.
fucked up. Splice was a weird movie.
Yeah. What was. Which one was Splice?
Adrian Brody, they like make
Yeah,
a
he
human or
fucked it.
something, and he fucked it. Yeah.
The whole synopsis. Oh, I think the woman fucks it too, or more correctly, the creature fucks the woman.
Yeah.
It like changes sexes
There's a
on
lot
them or
of
something.
fucking going on.
Yeah, that movie feels like if like a pervy teenager like had a plot for a movie,
Yeah.
and like they had like a good solid foundation, but they just were like they needed to jerk off before they wrote the script because they just put like, and then he fucks the creature,
But then
and
the
he's like.
creature fucks the lady.
Yeah, and he's like, and then it grows a peepee and it fucks the lady, and he's in like fapping under his desk. Yeah, and then he's like, he like comes and the weight of the big cum he dropped hits the send button on his keyboard, and he was like, wait, it wasn't ready, and he can't take it back.
Too late. Full send,
That's
baby.
That's the movie we got. Oh man, what a great origin story that movie has. So this comes out October 25th, so it's still a little bit away, but it's the reason
For the
this is
season.
just the first look. It's the reason for the holiday season. And I mean, look, this is coming out really close to Halloween ends. So who's gonna win?
Ooh.
I bet it's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Yeah, this does look really cool.
I'm not saying that first trailer for Halloween Ends wasn't fine. I just was so unbelievably not impressed by the second one. I know we harp on it all the time. I'm not
Yeah.
going to revisit it. I'm sorry.
Well,
Watch
it's
it,
just Del
watch it.
Toro
Go
just
watch
has
it.
that fucking visual element to his
Yeah.
movies that's so good. I forget. I know I asked you this recently. Did you see The Shape of Water?
Yeah.
Yeah, great movie. Really,
She fucks a
like
fish.
she fucks a fish. That's the whole. What's that movie about? Oh, there's a fish guy and he fucks the woman. That's it.
It's basically The Deep, right?
It really is. It isn't. I mean, am I crazy? Like, you can tell me. You can let me down. I thought it was
It's what?
great.
Oh, it's a good movie. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Sorry, it was loud as fuck. Definitely a good movie, film, if you will. I would call that a
A
film.
film. It won
Should've
an
been published
Academy
by
Award,
A24.
so it's a film. I think that's the distinction.
Yeah. No, it's one of those really. It's like I don't know if macabre's the right word. It's just an odd duckling of a movie that you're like, this is what we're doing, and then once
Yeah.
you just like allow it to happen, you're like, I mean, love's universal, I guess. Sure.
You know what my favorite scene in that movie is? You know how some scenes just like
Tell me.
stick with you? It's towards the end. The guy, man, I can never remember this great actor's name. He's like the bad guy in this. He's like the government employee who's trying to find the fish man and, like, I don't know, capture him or something. And he catches up to him. It's raining. He thinks he kills the fish man, and the fish man like rises up, like, because he has the healing power or whatever. And it's like downpouring rain for dramatic effect. And
Right.
it's just the shot of him like standing up, and he says like, "Holy shit, you are a god," or something like that. And then he just slashes his throat out. Such a
Yeah.
fucking great scene. It's so like, has so much weight behind it. Great movie.
Nice. Anyway, moving on to our main topics. What do we have? We have What We Do in the Shadows, up to and including The Wedding, which I want to talk to Derek about. Prey and The Sandman. What would you like to do first? What would you like to do foist?
What We Do, Prey, Sandman.
Okay, in the order it's in. All right, gotcha. So we don't. We have been for this series, but we've kind of been doing 2 episodes at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But historically, don't cover every episode because then it's just like, yep, this one was funny too.
Yeah.
Unless there's something to add, and in this case, I think there is. So both of these episodes to me were killer.
Yeah.
The 5th episode, the setup is they're trying to get the. I love when everybody says it. They spell the whole thing out. The creature that came out of the abdomen of the dead Colin Robinson.
Yeah.
They're trying to get little Colin into a school, and they have to be interviewed. And the whole like gag is that they pause time or not pause time, but they like brainwash this
Yeah.
interviewer from the school so many times to change their story to what they think he'll like that they basically fuck him up. But the bits in it are so great.
Yeah.
Like they're a gay couple. It's Nandor and Laszlo. I mean, it's just
That scene, you could just tell they had so many one-liners
oh
that
god.
they were just like, we got to do them all. And
Yeah.
They just crammed all of the scenarios into one thing.
Yeah,
And it worked out beautifully.
it was just a great concept for an episode of the show.
Yeah.
It worked out so it was such like a nice little microcosm of the show, like as a whole, and it's fucking hilarious. There's they're all co-parents, and then these two are a
Yeah.
gay couple, and then it's the doll, and like all kinds of
Yeah.
super silly shit. Very enjoyable, and then they had the wedding. And the whole season so far has been building up. Nandor had a djinn, had like a bunch of wishes, and he's been like he brought all of his dead wives back, which is okay, but wasn't. And then he finally whittled it down to one. He's gonna marry her, and the whole episode was about them prepping the wedding, and typical antics. The episode for me stands out like a shining light on a hill because of the song that Nadia and
my
Laszlo
God, I know.
sing, which is who's gonna come first on the wedding night.
Yeah.
And the lyrics, first off, they just start. There's no warning. They just start singing it together, and the lyrics are hysterical. It's like, who comes first on the wedding night? And then Nadia's like, I think Nandor might.
Yeah.
I think Nandor might. Even better, and this actually had my wife laugh hysterically, was who's coming first on the wedding night? And Laszlo says, if his cock is right and her pussy's tight.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah, they really were 2 great episodes.
It was a really fun time, and the whole
Yeah.
thing with one of the skits in the wedding episode, obviously it wasn't focused around one concept like episode 5, but in the wedding episode, it's like, does anyone have anything to say against this union? And like, there's literally like a Comic-Con questions line
Yeah.
of people who think, and the girl who used to run the Vampire Council, I forget her name all the time. She comes up like twice, both
Yeah.
remembering how she was madly in love with each of them at this, for the first. She's like, but it faded after I got to know them, and everyone's like, yeah. Anyway, I just love it. Those 2 episodes were phenomenal to me.
Yeah.
I very much looking forward to it. I think the next one's like 2 nights from now or something.
Yeah.
Anyway. Any other thoughts before
Quality
we move on?
maintained. That's it. Stamp
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Stamp it, move on, ship that shit. Okay, we'll do Prey.
I'm
And then
gonna
we'll
go
do
first.
Sandman. Okay. Prey.
Pray, Eat, Pray, Love. I loved this movie because it was.
Title. Eat, Pray, Love.
Got it.
Oh.
Yeah, let me just come out. I liked this a lot. I thought it was very good. There were very
Wait. I also like this a lot. I thought it was
Okay,
very good.
excellent.
Now go.
I have like very minor complaints that I kind of started to make throughout. And every time I go like, I don't like that, something would happen that was so fucking cool that I was like, all right, these complaints are done. I am going to say just one, and then I'm going to praise it. And that's that, other than the end, which they sort of redeem themselves, sort of, there was a lot of cutting right before shit happened. I hate that. That is like my biggest pet. If you're going to have a movie about like dismemberment and this alien that's like showing up to fuck people up with their like crazy ass alien weapons, like don't show it start to hurt them and then like cut or like shift the camera and hear a scream or something. I especially didn't expect that with this because the fellow who made it, whose name escapes me right now, said that he always hated in the original Predator that Billy dies off screen, that he like takes his shirt off and he like does this cut across his chest and he's sort of like calling him out to distract him or whatever. And then you just hear him scream and he dies. So I read that before watching it, before it released. And so I thought, all right, this guy's he's gonna show all of it. And there was just some scenes that it just kept pulling away. I'm like, stop doing that. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it was excellent. I thought it was well shot. I think that the CGI on the animals was terrible.
Yeah, that bear did not.
Did not look good. Looked like 20 years ago CGI, but that's all right. It's all right. They made up for it because the Predator looked fucking awesome. The redesign was great. People were upset about the redesign, but apparently, like in the lore of, I don't even know what they're called. They're not called predators. They don't call themselves predators. I can't.
No, I actually just looked it up. You keep talking, I'll find out.
Apparently, whenever they're hunting something, they like splice DNA with it, like their DNA with it. So it would make sense that going back 300 years, it would look a little different than it would in 1980. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of years of genetic mutation undone.
Yautja.
Yautja.
It looks like Yaltja if you look at it in writing.
Yautja.
But it's pronounced Yautja, apparently.
The lead was really good. She was exceptionally a
Very
well-written
good.
character. I've seen more people complaining about her than I do people complaining about her. But like,
Yeah.
I have seen a couple people call her Mary Sue, which I just don't get. I didn't get that indication from it at
Yeah,
all.
it was like, she was trying very hard and failing a lot at being really great.
It just seemed to me like in the beginning, we see she has confidence, but like when it comes down to it, she doesn't. But you see, from the beginning, she's doing all these crazy fucking throwing her axe and doing this parkour shit off trees. Like you see from the beginning, this is a capable hunter who has been doing this already. Like it's not like her brother died and she picked up the bow and was automatically great at it. Like that's bullshit. I don't buy that. If you're saying that about this movie, you're wrong. Point blank. Period.
Yeah.
She has shown competence in hunting and in tracking since the beginning of the movie. She just didn't really have the confidence to bring it all together into a thing.
Right. You couldn't call her a Mary Sue without saying the same thing about every guy in the movie. Like, because like you said, from the beginning, like it's perfectly summed up for me in like the bird they're trying to shoot over the river.
Mm-hmm.
She's confident she can make the shot, but she's waiting for the right time. Her brother just takes it.
Yeah.
It's not like she was bad at her bow and arrow.
Yeah.
She just
didn't want to have to cross the bank to go get it.
Yeah. In all honesty, she was trying to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
But
it was good special effects other than the animals. Looked really great. The Predator was just fucking awesome. The only thing that last fight was like pure choreography porn. That was like
very
so
good.
And the other thing I know that the big thing I was worried about, that I think is a big thing a lot of people were worried about, is like, we're going back 300 years. Our technology was so much worse then. Is it just going to be laughable that like a Native American would be able to stand up to one of these things? However they did it, It didn't seem like a leap at all. Like it seemed believable. I don't know why in the 1980s assault rifles were less effective than bow and arrows back then. But I mean, it worked. Like I don't know. It just didn't feel cheap at any point. Every time he took like a grazing hit or something, it felt appropriate. Like, and the biggest damage he really did to himself were with his own weaponry. When you think about it, he cuts off his own arm with the shield accidentally. His own tool is what ends up killing him in the end. That was the only.
Which I loved.
I not me, because why the fuck, if you know you have this targeting system on your helmet and your helmet is not on your face, why would you
fire?
use it?
Maybe he made it oopsie. Maybe he forgot.
Yeah, I guess so. But overall, it was really great.
I see what you're saying, but I loved there was like the oh shit moment, because I kind of didn't even realize what she was setting up. Like I know what the helmet does, obviously, but I wasn't sure. And then the way she like staged it so that when he fired, he was where he was standing.
Yeah.
And it was gonna fucking get. And I was like, oh, I literally was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know. It's fun. I like those. I like those moments when it makes me like, you know, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, but it was very good. People keep ranking them, and I'm not going to do that, but it's one of the best. I'll just keep it at that. It's certainly up there, top 2.
It was very, very good.
Yeah.
And I don't have a whole lot to add to what you said. People were complaining about a Easter egg that they put in the film, which is there's a pistol that the Predator gives to Danny Glover's character, I think, at the end of like Predator 2. It's the same pistol that she uses at the end.
Oh.
and they were complaining because they were like, well, she kills the Predator. How did they get the pistol back to give it to the guy in Predator 2? I was like, look, it was a cool little nod. If you liked Predator, it would have been neat. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for a cohesive fucking universe with Predator films.
Yeah.
So the fact that they could reference another film in any way, I would imagine as a Predator fan, was probably fun. Yeah, no, the choreography was great. Even though the bear looked like shit, the whole concept around the scene with the bear was awesome.
Really cool. Yeah, agree.
I also liked the it was like this intensity with all the animals. Like they felt like you're like, oh shit, I really feel like we're back then where like wildlife is not tamed yet.
Yeah.
And even the fight with the wolf was sick because he like eviscerated the fucking like it ran at him. He's like shink, and I was like, oh my god, I think what went a long way towards making it feel like they were able to actually fight this thing is that like he tears through so many of them. Like even to win, her brother has to put in all this work to weaken him, knowing that he's not going to make it out of that fight. And I just they, like you said, they did a good job of just making it feel real. And I would recommend it to anybody. I think it's worth starting to try on Hulu or paying for a month of it just to watch it. I think it's that good. And I never expect Predator film. I don't expect any of those creature films to be other remakes. I never expect them to be good. And go see it. It's fucking really.
Apparently,
really
the
fun.
last one that came out, I think it was just called The Predator.
Yeah,
was like really bad.
That was like the Shane Black one or something. It was supposed to be good, and it like was not.
I heard
all.
nothing but like absolute dog shit about it.
There was like a mega predator.
Like a super predator. Stupid. Just dumb. The
Super
one
Predator,
that, what was
that's
his
what it
name? Man, who did it? It was just called Predators. It had
I don't fucking know.
It had Topher Grace in it.
Tielfa Grass.
It was created by Nimrod Antal.
Oh,
okay.
That was from 2010. Is that the one with Adrian Brody? It is.
It is. It's the one. That's the one.
Mahershala Ali. Ooh, good cast.
That one I remember being pretty okay, but then again, that was 12 years ago. So I don't know. Maybe I was just being dumb.
Yeah,
but,
I also found it was like fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's it. Moving on. Last but not least, the Sandman series came out on Netflix, and Derek Son and I have watched all of it. And I would like to. I like when we give like, did you like it or not like it, and then we can talk, because I hate sitting not knowing how you felt about it the entire time. So
I like
baseline
that power
and then
I have
details
over you. It just makes me feel good. Let me say it like this. I liked it with caveats, but overall, it's something I would recommend for sure.
So the Sandman had long been called like the unfilmable show.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you come at it from that perspective, they succeeded wildly. I've really enjoyed the show. There's always caveats, but overall, I thought the show does a weird thing, and it's because of the way the book is. It's a long running comic book line that was pulled together into graphic novels and released, and because of that, basically a writing team, they'll put a story arc out. In this case, it was all Neil Gaiman, but he would, you have like a little contained story, kind of, you have a bunch of threads, but you tie it up with like a main antagonist, protagonist, and then you move on to the next storylines with any comic book character. And the show is like a collection of the first 1.5, because there's still a lot more. First like 1.5. Well, it's 2. They had a nice ending there. Storylines from the graphic novel, and there are many more than that. The way it was structured and the actors in the show, it accomplishes this weird thing where, because of it's in like these almost like chunks narratively. Some of the most touching parts of the show are in like the middle of the season.
Yeah.
And it's weird from someone who's used to watching streaming content, where a lot of the times the middle can feel like the slog, where it's slow and the beginning's maybe great and hooks you, And then the ending might even be wonderful, but the middle is usually like, okay, we probably could have cut a couple of these episodes, but this had the opposite effect on me because of the way that the narrative was structured. And I'm talking longer than I expected in the intro, but I really enjoyed the show. I messaged you late one night because I had gotten about halfway into episode 6 and was like, I had to get downstairs and get a box of tissues. Again, I know it's not a surprise that I cried at something, but 6 is an extremely touching episode.
Yeah.
And very sad. And also cool because it's the first one where they expand the lore of his universe beyond the plight of the initial, like us being thrust into the world. We're like, oh, he's trapped, he's escaping, he's getting his shit back. And that's all you really know. And with 6 and the rest of it, they start to expand his mythos and like his siblings and all that shit. And I love that part of the book and I love the show for it and still going. So I'm going to stop now. What are your caveats?
I thought that there was like a really huge variance in the quality, like the narrative quality of the episodes. And some of the CGI was bad. I almost don't even want to mention that because it's bad for like a feature length movie, which it is not. For a television show, it's pretty exceptional. So I kind of, you know what, I'll just leave it at that. I won't even touch on the CGI.
Yeah.
Here's what makes this show good and what makes it not hit sometimes simultaneously, which is what's ironic. It's going for just intensely personal and like intense moments between people. And so you have like just these really tragic stories. I cried multiple times throughout this show. It wasn't just episode 6. It was like almost nonstop. I was crying for this show. Just
my ultimate goal is to watch something with you that makes both of us cry.
Right? It's just very like intense and like intimate stuff, emotions. And did you like Sandman Einstein?
Yo, tell me how you felt, baby.
But sometimes it didn't hit. So like sometimes it just came across as cheesy. There's the woman, I think her name is Lyta, and her like dead husband she has a baby with. Every scene that they were in together, it was like, it's like biting into tiramisu. It's just too fucking sweet. And you're just like, oh my God. Like it was just too much.
You know what's funny about that?
Hit me with
I also didn't care about that side arc in the book either.
I don't even remember. Yeah. I don't even. I'm now I'm going to pick it. That's what I was going to end with. Is I'm absolutely picking the book back up and I'm going to read it. But there were moments that were had such a profound emotional like hit on me that I had to rewind them and watch them again. And the one that I want to bring up, I know you have one you want to bring up. I'll save that one for you. The one to me that really just had this weird bittersweet. That's the word. A lot of bittersweet moments it had. Was when he, in episode 4 or 5 that Galt, one of his arcanas, has gone missing and she's a nightmare. And because we see the Corinthian, who's another nightmare. This is just great writing. We see the Corinthian, who is another escaped nightmare, killing people and wreaking havoc. And you just think, well, they're nightmares. Nightmares are bad. So we know Galt is bad too. And then you come to find out that she's sort of abducted Jed, who Rose Walker's looking for, her little brother. So again, it's reinforced. Well, this is a bad woman because she has some, ulterior motive with Rose Walker, maybe because she's the Vortex or whatever. And then you see, it's like every step of the way, it reinforces this. It was the greatest red herring because then you see that she's like disguising her appearance as Jed's mom and sending on these things to be like a superhero in an almost like WandaVision-esque way. And you're like, oh, she has some dark thing that she's like tricking him into thinking he's doing good to steal his power or something. And like, it turns out she finally gets captured by Dream. And like, when he asks her why, we see him get abused by his foster family.
Right.
And when he asks her why, she's like, do you see what his waking life is like? He's in hell. Like, he's being abused. He's being beaten. He's being locked up. Like, I needed to do something for him. And her like I'm getting choked up just thinking about it. Her acting in that scene is so good. And so Dream, who has not had his totally like MacGuffin turn of character in the last, third of the final episode yet, is still like in dick mode. And he's like, well, you didn't do the thing that I designed you for. And so I'm going to banish you to the darkness for 1,000 years. And as she's disintegrating, she just has this look of pride on her face. And she's like, better that than to spend my whole life just making people afraid. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I just started crying my eyes out. It's like the last thing she says before she just turns into dust.
Yeah.
And like, I just went back and watched that scene like 3 times. Her acting was incredible. The like
Yeah.
weight of that scene was so heavy. I didn't like the last episode, which it always sucks to, I said there's variance between episodes, and I felt like the last one was really bad. It felt rushed. Felt like they wanted to like put him in a place for season 2. And I
agree. I actually think it needed another episode.
Yeah.
Because the Fiddler's Green reveal in the book that like this gentleman who was living with her this whole time in that shared house. It also felt like she spent way more time in that shared house in the book, but anyway, because she did, because it's a book and they had way more time to flesh things out. But the reveal that he's Fiddler's Green, that he is this place in the dreaming personified because he wanted to know what it was like to be a human, is a beautiful reveal in the book. And like, it makes me emotional, but in the show, it was like, it happened so quickly because the last episode had so much to tie up. I think another episode, maybe 2 actually, would have been really good for the show. And I think the show benefits so much from just using the source material.
Yeah.
So like you said, they telegraphed this whole time about Gaunt being like a nightmare, and they give you the Corinthian as a reference point and all this stuff. And at the same time, when they talk about Dream, he's never overtly an asshole in the scenes we're in, but multiple times leading up to these moments, we've heard people say, he did? That's not the Dream I remember.
Yeah.
And they talk about how like he used to just, and it was like he was just this nascent force of Dream that he just, and they hammer it home. And again, this would come back into season 2, so spoiler, but it's such a throwaway scene in the book, and it becomes it's such a throwaway scene in the show, and it's such an important background plot thread in the book, which is that he finds someone in hell the first time he goes who
I remember that. Yeah.
And that needed like a couple things, just needed more time to breathe. And I can't, like, they must have run out of budget. Like, we know Netflix put a ton of money into the show, so I can't fault them for not giving me every little thing that I wanted. But I talked a lot about how the show is like kind of narratively in chunks, and how that's just like how the comics work. And something I really applaud them for was, so basically, and this happens a lot, and I know mostly because of my love of Batman, but usually you'll get this huge arc from this writer-director combo who's on this book for like 12, 14 months. So you'll get this huge run, this big Court of Owls was a big Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, amazing duo, writer art team, big, huge storyline. And then maybe they would take a break and there would be like 3 or 4 issues that were standalone, self-contained, small stories that just did whatever. It would be some fill-in artist before the next big arc came back. And that's how the books for Sandman happened in the graphic novel. It would be, there's big chunk with the dude who gets his amulet and that whole thing with him getting his gear back. And then there's some in-between stories before the next sort of big plot mover takes place. And in this case, him meeting up with Death and all the precursor work. And one of those side stories that I remember was him meeting the guy in the bar every 100 years. And
I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's sort of this self-contained little thing that does nothing but add layers to Dream as a character. It's wonderfully woven into the show here.
Yeah.
In a way that it accomplishes exactly what it did in the graphic novels, but in a way that felt seamless. It helped to flesh his character out. It just helped to show. The fucking dog is messing with the cat, like right behind me. Go lay down, stupid motherfucker. It's threaded so perfectly right at the same time when it's being sort of revealed to us that he's changing from being an asshole to a more accepting, open to listening to criticism character. And it's as a microcosm of that, is showed so beautifully in the story with this guy where he gets like offended at something this guy says and doesn't show up.
Yeah.
And then the following 200 years later, he's hard for people to change. Okay. 200 years later, he comes back and he greets him as a friend. And I just love that little story.
Yeah,
it wasn't the kind of thing that brought me to tears. I just thought it was a great little thing to weave in the episode. And
It was
I
great
mean,
because, like you said, it didn't need to be in it. It's not about what's happening in the overarching story, but
Right.
it makes you understand Dream more. Which I feel like one of my criticisms is that we needed more of that. It just felt like in the end he was like, you're right. I should be a good guy now. And then he's
Yeah.
even like, hey, look at this dream I'm making for you. It's just like really
Right.
like total switch. I was kind of like, come on, it's season 1. Can we relax a little bit? Like,
yeah,
we can let this go a little bit longer.
yeah, and I agree. I think threads like that, little things in the story, it's the reason the book worked as well as it did, and I think it went a long way to making the show work as well.
Oh, and
as
the
it
guy
did.
that played Dream, which was my big concern, ended up kind of killing it. So I have to retract that. He was pretty good.
I agree. I liked him a lot. I didn't have the what's the word reservations that you did when we first saw him. I was like, no, he looks fine, and I'm glad that he played stoic and he showed great emotion through very minimal acting. And of course, the last thing I want to bring up is the Cryfest 2022, which was episode 6, which is sort of the beginning of the second bigger narrative arc, and they know what they're doing, right? Neil Gaiman literally introduces us to Death, who takes the form of a beautiful young black woman. It's a sibling of Dream, and it's the first time the sort of universe of like his siblings is expanded upon. And she talks about how like, Dream says really cool shit. I'd eat it up. He was like, you were always really good with them, like talking about humans as creatures. And she talks about how she always thought her job was the hardest, and you don't really know who she is at first. And then in these beautiful scenes, and they're all ripped directly from the book. Again, it's like what Snyder did for Watchmen, which is like, he's like, how do I adapt the unadaptable? I just fucking make it on TV.
Yeah.
Where she's in all these scenarios of, the way it comes back around in that episode where they start off on the soccer pitch, and then at the end of the episode, and nothing happens, which is why you don't know who she is. And then she goes and visits all these people in different scenarios, and she sees like the people on a honeymoon, and it's all these.
That
the
one
old,
dug deep for me. My God.
And the old guy playing he's the first one that we see.
Yeah.
They walking down the street and they hear a violin play, and they hear it coming out the window, and they walk up, and you're like, what the fuck? And she just goes in and very gently, she's like, hi. And she calls him by his name, and she's like, it's time. And you see like the understanding of what's happening come over his face. And he, even as an older man, he's like, no, I'm not ready yet. And then he's like, can I just please do this first? And she lets him. And then it's very beautifully done. He just stands up and he looks at himself and he's like, what now? And like her whole job is to like comfort humans while they pass, and they do the same. And like you said, the heartbreaking scene of the young couple on their honeymoon, and
he just wants to give her the flight info so that she can. It's such a real reason, like you know what I mean. Like if that had happened to you, you'd be like, look, I get it, I can't come back to life, but just let me give my fucking wife the flight info so she can get home. Yeah.
He's like, please let me unlock the phone. Like all our tickets and everything are on there. He's like, I'll go with you. Just please let me do it. And then she's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And you see his body get dragged out of the water, and she starts screaming. And then the worst one fucking happens.
Yeah.
You go into like a new mother's house, and she puts the fucking baby down. You're like, no. You're like, they wouldn't do this. They wouldn't. And she goes over and she picks the baby up, and she's like, yep, I'm sorry. That's all there is.
That's all the time you get. I was like, that is the worst fucking sentence that you could possibly say. That one was rough. My God.
Needed a whole new box of tissues for that one.
You know what though? I feel like they did that as tastefully as they could because it sucked. But it's not like they didn't show the baby's corpse, right?
Right.
But
and
then the other part was I thought they were going to have the mom come in. You were going to hear her shriek of horror,
and they didn't.
And you hear her go, "Honey," and then that's it. They cut it. I was like, okay.
Because I was holding my breath.
I turned the fucking show off.
Yeah. I thought they were going to have her like even like a no or like something, and they didn't do it.
You just knew it was right about to come right when they cut.
Yeah. Okay. Just like I like to end every scene when I'm just about to come. Speaking of which, we're done. That's the end.
No, it's not, because I want to say one more thing. Episode 5 was one of the most uniquely like storyboarded episodes. It's almost like they took a break from the normal sort of like formula for the show. I just thought it was so cool that for the first
diner?
for the first like 2/3, You see, I think his name was John. Is the guy with the ruby. He walks in. The waitress walks up to him, and then she gets his order, whatever, and then she walks away, and the camera goes with her, and then she talks to this guy, and then the camera stays with him, and you get these little snippets about their lives where, like, you don't know their life story, but you kind of get, like, a thing or two about them.
Yeah.
Of course, ultimately, he has this weird, he has a psychotic fixation on telling the truth. I thought it had this cool, not like edgy or try hard or too deep for me thing to say, but it had this kind of interesting message about, like, you know, how tiny lies kind of are a mercy, and just these stupid tiny little things that we keep from people when you just let them fly. I don't know. I just thought it was great. I thought it was so fucking excellent, and then it got so dark so quick.
The whole scene and setup in the graphic novel is gorgeous, and I think they might have done it better in the show because of the very cinematic way that, like you said, it tends to follow certain people, and things just generally seem to ramp up slowly on each story. It's like rungs on a ladder, and when you get to the top, people are dead. So much destruction has been done, and it's just beautiful. I really like it.
Yeah, I really hope that the budget didn't make it seems like it's getting good reviews, so that's
it is
always a good sign. But excellent. I have, again, caveats there, but overall I would absolutely recommend this without a second thought.
I was very hopeful that I would like this show, but I did not go in expecting to actually have that fulfilled. Like I thought it was gonna be like at best okay, and I really, there is some moments in this show that I hold very highly, even up against the original graphic novel. So good job. And if you know anything about the next arc that's coming, Gwendolyn Christie's Lucifer will be back. I thought that whole scene was pretty cool. They changed a couple little small things from the book, but nothing crazy. But now the season 1, 87 with critics, obviously Rotten Tomatoes take with a grain of salt, but 80% audience score, which is usually about what the zeitgeist is. And they said, while it may hold few surprises for fans of the source material, which is true, the Sandman's first season satisfyingly adapts an allegedly unfilmable classic. So even they are saying, like, got it.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. Been almost 2 hours. We're back, baby.
Back, baby.
Back,
2 hours. Hey, Chris, if people wanted to see what kind of funny memes that you post and stuff like that, where would I go? What would I do? How can I go
if
about
you're
that?
so inclined, you could find us on Twitter at The Cynical Nerd. You could follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Cynical Nerd. TikTok, we have a TikTok account that we need to post more clips to. Kind of on me. That's just The Cynical Nerd on TikTok. Trying to get my guy never answered about the Instagram, but maybe that's saving you all from the fake cartoon character dick. Oopsies, I didn't mean to post. But we're gonna wrap it up. This episode 78, Eat, Pray, Love. We have to think of a thumbnail.
I feel like it has to be the little tiny mice in the movie theater.
No, I'm gonna spend all night on this. All right. Where can everybody find you at? Are you doing anything?
Just Twitter. You know it by now. I'm not gonna say it.
Bold strategy.
Just Twitter.
I'm gonna do it. At Dr. Gloom MD. It's DRGLOOMMD. Same here. Just TCM plays. I haven't been streaming. Look, I want to get back to it, but I haven't found something. I gotta be totally honest with you. Have not found something that feels like it's worth pulling back up.
Yeah.
I got stuff going on. You don't even know.
I'm with you on that.
Plus, we've all just been collectively one big sick amoeba for like 3 months.
It's been like unending. My God, Jesus.
So how about we get back to our first milestone of like having another episode next week, and we'll talk about streaming. Okay, guys, fucking relax. Stop pressuring me. I got things to do.
Get off my fucking back.
All right, bye.
See ya.